What is up, boys and girls? We are talking Fallout from tonight's WWE Extreme Rules pay-per-view. Just went off the air. It's the RCWR show. I'm your host right here, Black Avenger, aka the Black Aswell, Lee Sanders. Thank you all so much for joining us this May 4th, 2014. We definitely want you guys to interact with us, especially those of you that had saw tonight's pay-per-view slash special event, as WWE is kind of dubbing it now, as it's looking as though more and more cable providers are going to be coming in to reevaluate their relationship with WWE as far as distributing their pay-per-views go. You can interact with us here on YouTube by commenting down below. You can also find me on Twitter at the RCWR Show. I am paying attention to the Twitter timeline right now. Facebook at Infinity One Productions. I'm making it very simple tonight. I am a little bit under the weather. I'm actually fighting a little bit of a flu. So I'm going to actually try to make this show be as brief as possible. So I'm not going to even try to put a time frame out there, but I know usually when we do our post shows, it's like an hour long, and we usually simulcast for YouTube and Blog Talk, but I'm making it very simple tonight. We're only going to do this here on YouTube. Those of you that were maybe looking forward to calling into the show and letting me know what you had thought about the show and all that, humbly apologize. We'll make it up to you. Hopefully maybe Tuesday night if I'm feeling a little bit better, but just kick on back, relax. And of course, if you're actually looking for footage of tonight's pay-per-view event, you might want to head on over to the WWE Network. You can get it through WWE.com. Buy it that way. Get it for $9.99 a month. Special heads up, because I know from time to time I get like these weird spam messages from people that say, "Oh, well, you don't have to do that. You can just go do blah 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 for free." I'm letting you know right now. If you send me one of those damn things, it's not gonna go through because it's all already marked as spam. So just save that typing right now and just take it and shove it up your candy ass, because this was honestly a pay-per-view slash special event that, honestly, when I think about it overall, WWE did a fantastic job. I thought I really enjoyed all the matches. Time really flew by tonight. Now I want to kick things off by talking about the WWE midget match, or whatever the hell they were calling it. I'm just gonna call it the shortly challenged match with Hornswoggle versus El Torito. I know there were a couple of you guys that had sent me a message and you were like, "Can you please cover that match? It's actually something that might be very good. You might be missing out on something." I actually did not watch it. Okay, I did not watch it. Now, for those of you that might not be hip to it, last I had saw, it appears that for the past couple of months on WWE's YouTube channel over at WWE Fan Nation, they've actually been posting their pre-shows in its entirety or just the match itself. I know definitely you could see the pre-shows on the WWE network. So for those of you that might be looking for that, you have those outlets that you could check out respectfully, but I skipped it. And see, I wish I really would have got the ball rolling as far as why I was skipping it. I really wasn't skipping it because of how silly I thought the match was. For me, I skipped it because we didn't see guys like Sheamus, who was actually part of the pre, and I believe he's also part of the post-show panel for Extreme Rules tonight. He didn't have a match on this pay-per-view night. Dolph Ziggler, Damian Sandow. I mean, I can go on and on with just a list of names of great guys who I feel should have been wrestling tonight, and they definitely should have been wrestling in that pre-show. And there was one person that has sent me a tweet, and he said, why not just boycott the whole entire pay-per-view if that's the case? And I think that's just a little bit too extreme, especially when you're a paying customer and you've actually purchased the whole WWE network and all that. I think that's just a little bit too extreme. Whereas the kickoff special, it's really a free event because you can watch it on WWE's website. You can watch it on YouTube. I think they even got it set up on Facebook or whatever. So, I mean, there's plenty of different outlets that you could check out the pre-show usually. But for me, it was just kind of a sick feeling that I had, literally, knowing that the guys that I had mentioned and more weren't participating on the pre-show kickoff. So for me, I tried to show a little bit of respect to them and actually skipped tonight's kickoff. Hopefully some of you guys did too. I know there was a couple of you guys that had retweeted what I had said on Twitter with regards to boycotting that particular match. But I have nothing to say about that, so let's go to the actual pay-per-view card itself. I love how things had kicked off with our first match, which was the triple threat elimination tag team match between Cesaro, RVD, Jack Swagger, to kind of follow up on what I was talking about during our Call That Match edition, covering Extreme Rules, where I was offering predictions on what all was probably going to be coming about from tonight's pay-per-view. I had said, hey, early on, maybe we might see some type of a scenario play out where maybe, just maybe, we'd see Cesaro and Swagger team up to eliminate RVD and then just let it be all about those two guys, because remember, Swagger for the past several weeks, he's really been trying to stick it to Cesaro ever since he had left the Real Americans and all, but we didn't actually see that come about. And I was just kind of a little bit shocked, but at the same time, when I really kind of thought about it, it was like, okay, well, you know what? It's cool. It's cool how they had ended up doing this. I swear we had saw a botch spot during the match, because we ended up seeing Jack Swagger get eliminated by RVD. It just seemed like it was a botch spot. I'm not really sure. I could be wrong, but it was kind of weird seeing Jack Swagger go out as early as he did. I was really under the impression that we were going to continue to see Swagger stay in there. Basically, it was going to come down to Swagger and Cesaro, but that wasn't the case. But man, you talk about RVD and Cesaro going at it. Those two guys, man, they really put on one hell of a match once it got down to a one-on-one type of a match. We actually saw Cesaro defeat Rob Van Dam in that triple threat match. Are you loving Cesaro's music? I'm just a little curious. When I first heard it, really didn't win me over overnight, but it kind of seems like over the past couple of weeks they've kind of tweaked it just a little bit. I'm actually starting to come on board now for that Cesaro song. Still not feeling the glittery jacket, but hey man, it is what it is. Let's go to our next match. Alexander Rusev, he defeated R-Truth, Xavier Woods. He defeated R-Truth via submission. Post-match, he had went in at the orders of Lana and had continued to make his presence be felt by attacking Xavier Woods. I mean, we all knew that Rusev was going to pick up the victory right here. I mean, honestly, I think for a lot of us guys, we were more into Lana than the match itself. I mean, for real. I got to be honest, because I damn sure was not paying attention to what was going on in that ring. I don't know, man. I guess what's really rubbing me the wrong way is the fact that, one, Alexander Rusev, he's a short guy. I mean, I didn't realize how short he was until we had saw him matched up like height for height there with Lana. Now, she was wearing heels, but man, even if you eliminated the heels, you can still kind of tell that Rusev is a little bit of a shorty. And, there's nothing wrong with being a little shorty. I mean, hell, we've seen some of the biggest, smallest guys in WWE go on to have pretty successful and fruitful careers in the WWE. Definitely some Hall of Famer, Shawn Michaels, Rey Mysterio, no doubt. He'll probably be a future Hall of Famer. Eddie Guerrero, some would consider him to be somewhat of a short guy. Definitely Chris Jericho to a certain extent. But when I look at a guy like Alexander Rusev, man, I mean, I guess for me, we've seen this story told so many times, and like I've been saying the past couple of weeks, it's also got this whole Rocky IV type of a vibe with the whole Russian thing and all that. It's kind of like, okay, so who's going to be Rocky Balboa to Alexander Rusev? Who's going to come in and be that great white hope and take him out? I mean, honestly, if I could be Booker for a day, if Kurt Angle really is entertaining the idea of not re-signing with the WWE, talk about a real American coming back and ending Alexander Rusev's streak. If Alexander were to lose to anybody, I think that would be freaking awesome. That's just wishful thinking. I know I'm jumping ahead, but the guy's rubbing me the wrong way. I really just had a hard time getting into this match. It was a pretty mediocre match, quite honestly. Definitely the Cesaro, Swagger, Rob Van Dam, great strong opener for the actual pay-per-view itself. But to follow up with Alexander Rusev taking on R-Truth, Xavier Woods, I wish we could have seen a little bit more offense and a little bit more stamina slash duration for this match to make Xavier Woods and R-Truth and Xavier Woods really shine, especially R-Truth. And see, this is where the power of the commentators, I feel, really come into play. Because does anybody remember WWE Capital Punishment? What was it, from like maybe almost 3 years ago in Washington, D.C., where a heel R-Truth had took on John Cena for the WWE Championship after weeks and weeks of these two guys engaging in the promos and all that. And if you are a Ron Killing slash R-Truth fan at this point, you really were under the impression that R-Truth was possibly going to get the job done against Cena at that respective pay-per-view. See, here's where the commentators really need to sell the hell out of these opponents that were taking on Alexander Rusev, because they were talking about every little bullcrap thing aside from mentioning great accomplishments that both of these guys, but definitely R-Truth. You know what I'm saying, guys? If they really would have done a better job in telling, not making it seem as though Alexander Rusev was just having himself a couple of appetizers, maybe I could have really gotten invested into this match. But you just talk about a missed opportunity as far as the commentating goes to really sell on those two guys. But hey, it is what it is. Let's go to our next match. Bad News Barrett taking on Big E Langston for the Intercontinental Championship. This is exactly what I said, or rather how I said this match was going to be coming about. I said to you guys, what was it, Friday night, that this match was going to be one that was probably going to have a lot of people talking. This was probably going to be one of those diamond in the rough type of matches that make you go, damn, that match was actually pretty damn good. And Bad News Barrett, Big E Langston, I mean, they just, whoo, my God. When I think back of like top 3 matches for tonight's Extreme Rules pay-per-view, I definitely got to give the nod to Bad News Barrett, Big E Langston. Folks, we got a new Intercontinental Champion, Bad News Barrett. How about that? I mean, man, I didn't think WWE was going to pull the trigger this soon, but you know what? I'm really starting to learn the hard way that when it comes to WWE and certain guys that they've just been spending a lot of time building up and all that, I've really been learning the hard way that when they're behind something, they ride that baby to the top. And honestly, I was not expecting Bad News Barrett to get the IC title, at least not until maybe WWE's next pay-per-view event. So definitely surprised that they had operated the way that they did in crowning Bad News Barrett the new IC champion. And if you're keeping track at home, if I'm not mistaken, this makes Bad News Barrett an Intercontinental Champion for the 4th time, or is it the 5th time? Somebody post those comments down below, and make sure you all provide the most accurate information for Wade Barrett. It's either 4th time or 5th time an Intercontinental Champion. But you know what? One thing that I did say for Friday night, and I love the fact that they went on ahead and they pulled the trigger with Bad News Barrett. I said on Friday night that Big E is in a position right now where he really has run his course as the IC champion, because pretty much once he got crowned with it, it's just been a little bit stale for him. He really hasn't been doing anything that epic, And I made the argument that it would probably be better for Big E Langston to chase after whoever the IC champion is, and in this case, Wade Barrett. I think if they do it right, those two guys could have a pretty damn good long program for that championship. At least I hope that's what's going to happen. I think we could all be in agreement. Big E, he's definitely not ready for the main event scene just yet. He will one day. He's definitely not ready to become a WWE World Heavyweight Champion. We all could be in agreement for that. I don't see him being demoted so fast, like as far as like maybe he would become a tag team champion or something like that. Remember, he still has that Intercontinental Championship rematch probably in his contract. So we're probably going to see him and Wade Barrett lock it up again. How soon? Only time will tell. Hell, it could happen in less than 24 hours on a new episode of WWE Raw. Who knows? Only time will tell. But once again, bad news, Barrett, Intercontinental Champion. We only got about 4 more matches to talk about, a little bit over half left. I want to take a brief pause, welcome you guys. Thank you all for checking us out as you are checking out a special RCWR show for Sunday night, May 4th, 2014. Your host right here, Black Avenger Lee Sanders. If you're enjoying our recap and review so far of tonight's Extreme Rules pay-per-view, go out of your way. You can leave those comments down below. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. You can share this a couple of ways by retweeting it, Facebooking it, Google Plusing it. One of the many ways you can spread the good word about our content. Tonight's episode is being sponsored in part by our good friends over at Big Sky Wrestling, where the sky is the limit in all things wrestling, comedy, music, and great entertainment. Hit them up, BigSkyWrestling.com, Facebook, and Twitter at, you guessed it, Big Sky Wrestling. Let's go on ahead and let's continue on with the rest of the card. And remember, if you want to get involved, you want to interact with us, you can do so. Post those comments below. Find us on Twitter at the RCWR Show and Facebook at Infinity One Productions. Next up, I was a little bit surprised that we had got this match out the way a little bit early, but hey, the timing was pretty good. The Shield, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose taking on Evolution's Triple H, Randy Orton, and Dave Batista. 6-man tag match, and a very damn good tag match at that. I was eagerly anticipating the hell out of this 6-man tag match. I knew it was not going to disappoint. And man, if this didn't dig down deep inside of you and made you say, you know what, this is what wrestling is all about, this right here, moments like this, I don't know what will get you over. I don't know what will get under your skin and just make you go, yeah, that's what the hell I'm talking about, because this 6-man tag match was just freaking on point, man. Those of you that might have not seen the pay-per-view, if you're curious whether or not Ric Flair had made some type of an appearance, unfortunately, he did not. I know there was reports floating around that he was supposedly going to be popping up at tonight's Extreme Rules, but looked like it didn't happen that way. I mean, man, when I just go back and I think about this match, I play it back in my head, to hear the silly little chants of the fans saying to Batista that he couldn't wrestle, I'm like, okay, whatever. We're gonna go that route. All right, whatever. But I mean, for me, I really marked the hell out when the fight had went outside of the ring, as Roman Reigns, Batista, they were just having a slugfest in the ring. Meanwhile, you had Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, they're fighting with Triple H and Randy Orton, and the action was just going all around the arena. I mean, my God, I wish I would have been there. I was so jealous of the fans that actually had the opportunity to be there, in the attendance, and the action was like coming their way. I mean, that's like pretty freaking awesome. I mean, it's one thing to have your beer, your soda, whatever, come your way when you're at your seat, but to have what you're watching in the middle of the ring pretty much come to you, that's pretty freaking awesome. We saw one sick-ass, man, talk about a suicide spot that Seth Rollins had did from, like, it was kind of like over an area where I guess maybe it might have been another entrance for the wrestlers. I'm not sure, but it was a spot where we saw Randy Orton, Triple H. They had just got done beating the crap out of Dean Ambrose, and we just see Seth Rollins from like above that over a little metal rail area. I mean, he did like a suicide dive over that. It was kind of like, hey fans, excuse me, part way, and he just freaking flew. I mean, this guy had wings as he crashed into Orton, Triple H. It was a great spot right there. Really had got the fans amped up and really into this matchup. Meanwhile, Roman Reigns left to fight that good fight as he was alone with Big Dave Batista, coming in with that Superman punch, coming in with that spear and everything. Roman Reigns picking it up for his team, that victory that is. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose picking up a victory over Evolution. And you know what? To all the people that's out there that's been crapping on Triple H for so many years, I mean, you guys really need to come off of it. And I know I'm probably going to get a thumbs down for saying this because we have some people that are just very passionate about their hate for Triple H. They don't want to give him his due. Some people feel he's a cancer and all this other crap. But let me just hit you with a fun RCWR show fact because it was something that really kind of rattled in my head a little bit throughout the course of this match, and it was, I wonder when's the last time Triple H had picked up a victory, at a pay-per-view. And here's an RCWR show fun fact for you. Since May 18th, 2013, every single pay-per-view match that Triple H has been involved in, or match period, Triple H has lost. Excluding the dark matches now. I don't want to bring that in there. If you just want to talk about it from just matches, Raw, SmackDown, all that other good stuff, since 2013 of May 18th, he's lost his matches, and that does include pay-per-view matches. So there you have it. And we got some folks saying that he doesn't put people over. If you're still in denial over that, I really don't know what to tell you. Bray Wyatt taking on John Cena steel cage match. I love the psychology that was going on for this particular match as you had Luke Harper, Eric Rowan. They basically were surrounding the ring the entire time. Their goal was to basically make sure that John Cena did not escape, whether it was climbing over the steel cage wall structure or asking for the referee to open the steel cage door. They had it all covered. They were making sure that Bray Wyatt was going to walk out of there with the victory. And you know what? What can I say, man? These two guys, they really, really delivered. I was very pleased with this steel cage match. This was actually another one that I got to give a nod to. It was really, really one of those type of matches that just really had me go, okay, Bray Wyatt, here he is again. He's taking on John Cena, this time in a different atmosphere. Last time they went at it pretty much in a one-on-one match. Now these two guys are going at it in a gimmick match, if you will, as it's called a steel cage match. And Bray Wyatt, very impressed with how he was able to handle himself. Future WWE World Heavyweight Champion, no doubt. I will admit there were a couple of spots in this match that just really kind of made it seem a little weak or whatever. There were some points where I thought that maybe Super Cena was going to be getting over the Wyatt family, and that definitely I felt would have ignited the wrestling community, especially the anti-John Cena fans, because you have such a great character in a Bray Wyatt who already jobbed to John Cena at last month's WrestleMania pay-per-view, and yet here you go again. You have him lock it up with Cena, and looks like maybe despite it being a 3-on-1 handicap match, John Cena is possibly going to be coming out on top. I really wasn't sitting on that quite too well, but I was definitely happy towards the end of the match when we saw the lights go out. And you're thinking to yourself, right when you see John Cena, who looks as though he's about to exit the steel cage, get his W, lights go out, it resumes, and you see this little kid in a black choir outfit singing in a exorcist voice. He's got the whole world in his hands, and Bray Wyatt just coming up from behind, nailing John Cena. And that's pretty much it. Bray Wyatt picking up the victory over Cena. Guys, as much as I would love to see these two guys split up, be done with already, I'm really getting the impression that we're going to be seeing a rubber match. I mean, come on, let's be honest. Wyatt's got one, Cena's got one. These two guys are going to have to unfortunately go at it one more time. I really don't want to see it happen. I really don't. But I think the way WWE is operating, they feel that this is a white hot storyline right now. They're probably saying to themselves, this is the ultimate good versus evil. And I like the fact that you have John Cena, who's like in this position where you think about all the great charitable work that he does, Make-A-Wish Foundation, and just the countless of hours that he dedicates to spread nothing but good positive energy to the little kids, not just with the Make-A-Wish, but just in general, how he's the whole military guy and all that. He salutes the men and women that serve in the armed forces and all that. I just think that in some type of sick, twisted, dark comedy, that it's kind of badass that it's the little kids that's kind of like defecting over to the Wyatts. It's like, hey, John Cena, it's actually cool to be black. It's not cool to be white as far as good versus evil goes, is what I'm saying. But that's just the way I'm kind of getting the vibe from that respected match. As, yeah, I'm calling it right now. Those two guys are definitely going to be having a rubber match probably at their next pay per view. But once again, Bray Wyatt picking up the victory over John Cena. Let's go to our next match as we only got like two more left. Paige, 21 years old. Isn't she so lovely? I mean, really, I love Paige. I've always been a fan of the whole goth looking type of thing. Hell, I used to do the whole goth thing when I was in junior high, high school. I used to be one of those guys that would be running around just listening to The Cure, maybe some Korn, some Ramones, and all that good stuff. But it's not about me right now. But good times, I will admit that. But Paige defending her WWE Divas Championship against Tamina Snuka. This was exactly how I had set it up in our Call That Match edition over the weekend. I said to you guys, Tamina Snuka is probably going to be built up in a way where the commentators are probably going to hype up the fact that she's the daughter of WWE Hall of Famer Jimmy Snuka, and they're probably going to really build her up to be this tough physical threat to Paige and Paige's Divas Championship. And the commentators actually did a good job in really building up Tamina Snuka. Once again, though, no reference to AJ Lee. Really makes you wonder what exactly is going on with the whole AJ Lee thing. Somebody asked me a question about AJ CM Punk. I don't want to get into that right now. We'll probably get into that a little bit more maybe this Tuesday night. I got some programming notes I need to tell you guys about too, so make sure you stick around for that. But this was a Divas match. I think even you majority of guys that usually crap on the Divas matches, definitely a shout out to some of my colleagues out there. Mid, I gotta say, I think even some of you guys can admit that this was a Divas match that was really freaking on point. I mean, ever since Paige came up to the main WWE roster, I mean, she has just been having matches with the Divas that actually make you go, okay, you know what? I need to pull up a seat and I need to see what's going on right here. And it's so interesting because I don't know, some could make the same argument that AJ Lee was kind of like doing the same thing, but I think where it's a little bit different is the fact that, let's be honest, AJ Lee, she kind of has a little bit of a checkered story as far as how she got to the position where she is. Now, if you guys had listened to my interview that I did last year with the lovely primetime Amy Lee actually shed a little bit of light on what I'm talking about as far as all the good things that's been coming in the career of AJ Lee. I mean, it's no secret. She's had a few men, let me put it that way, over the years and in the various wrestling promotions that she's been in. So some could kind of question her position as far as climbing up that ladder in the companies. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Paige, since the age of 13, when she find out her origin and everything, she has just been traveling all around the world. She cares nothing more than being one of the best wrestlers that's out there for females, honing in, perfecting her craft, and just giving a really good, entertaining match. And that's a story I can really get behind. And I've been fortunate to be able to see some of her stuff in NXT, and I think this girl just continues to be on a roll. Greatest move that WWE's ever done. Of course, if you bet against Paige, especially tonight, you really came up short, as Paige had defeated Tamina Snuka via submission. Damn good title retain right there. Main event match. I called this for what it was worth. I said look for Daniel Bryan to have some type of a mean streak in him, as he really wants to get that big payback on the Big Red Monster Kane. Prior to the main event match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, contested in a Extreme Rules match, we actually saw Daniel Bryan talking briefly with Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie tried to give him a little bit of an opportunity, if you will, to escape this match against Kane. She basically said, look, if you forfeit the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, you won't have to face Kane. Daniel Bryan, as far as he was concerned, he wasn't going to go. And Stephanie McMahon basically offered a rebuttal and said to Daniel Bryan, what was it that your wife said to me last week? Yeah, Kane is going to basically bitch you out. That was her message to Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, you are going to be Kane's bitch. But on the contrary, that's not what had went down, as we saw that mean streak really come out of Daniel Bryan. And I only had one problem with this match as far as the whole in-ring psychology goes and all of that. I had a little bit of a problem seeing Daniel Bryan come out, right? He has this serious look on his face, and you're like, oh, Daniel Bryan, he means business. He means business. He's going to be kicking some people's asses tonight. Oh, look at that serious demeanor. But then he gets in the middle of the ring and he does the whole yes, yes, yes. And it's kind of like, okay, so he's playing to the crowd. All right, let's see what happens next. So the Big Red Monster K comes out, and now all of a sudden Daniel Bryan, he just charges Kane, starts attacking him, and that's how the match began. I don't know if that for that whole yes, yes, yes. Personally, if I got my ass whooped by the Big Red Monster Kane a couple of times within recent weeks, hell, I've taken not one, not two, but 3 tombstone pile drivers at the hands of this guy. One of them on top of some steel steps. I've been choke slammed to the canvas in the middle of the ring a couple of times by this guy. I've been choke slammed through an announcer's table. I don't know. The last thing on my mind is to get in the ring and go, yes, yes, yes. I'm going to be getting in the middle of the ring. I'm going to be just looking quietly at the crowd, just get that nice little stare going on and everything, really look at them. And then I'm going to look in the direction of the Titantron area. I'm going to look over in the stage ramp for when that big red son of a bitch Kane comes out, so I can just haul ass and attack him. So I had a little bit of a hard time processing what all I was seeing. I don't know if maybe I kind of overanalyzed that, but it was just instant, hey, what the hell, as soon as I saw Daniel Bryan play to the crowd and attack Kane. But, man, you had some really great spots that was going on in that match. Daniel Bryan really showing that mean streak, I must admit. I love seeing Daniel Bryan go to work with Kane with the kendo stick and all that, the steel chair. I loved how the action went to the backstage area, and I couldn't help but notice the crowd at the Izod Center. They actually were booing a little bit when the action went towards the back. But you know what? Hey, that's what happens sometimes, man. Another spot that I had a hard time processing was the fact that there was like about, I don't know, a boatload of people that were watching Kane and Daniel Bryan just go at it backstage, and like everybody's quiet. It's like, okay, are we like at a funeral or something? Who the hell died? Shouldn't like there be people just like screaming and shouting and all that good stuff, And it was just so weird seeing the two guys just fight from the backstage area as they made their way to like a loading dock area where it looked like you saw 2 valet guys who are just all quiet. Then you saw like about maybe 5, maybe 6 guys near a couple of cars where Daniel Bryan and Kane had went into, and there was a spot where Kane had threw some type of a silver metal type of canister at Daniel Bryan as he was propped up on the car. Daniel Bryan managed to escape in time as Kane just threw that bad boy like a football. Man, I don't know, man. Maybe the Washington Redskins need Kane. That's a good arm Kane got. I don't know. But, seriously, he threw it and it goes through the window shield of the car, and you don't hear these 6, 8, 10 guys going, damn, or something. And, for future matches that end up happening in the backstage area, I really need to see more reactions from the people that's watching, especially in that loading dock area, because I've seen a couple of street fights and all that in my day where it was kind of like a private invitation only or whatever. And when you see two guys going at it in a loading dock area and you got nothing but guys in the loading dock area, you're going to hear, yeah, yeah, get him, get that SOB, yeah, So for me, I kind of had a little bit of a hard time processing it, but it was still great spots, guys and gals, that we were seeing with regards to this matchup. I love how Kane had punched through one of the car's windows, and then he kind of realizes that was a bonehead move as he's trying to shake the pain off. Daniel Bryan, in the meantime, he managed to go in the back of that same car that Kane had punched out, and he grabs a crowbar or whatever. I don't know how the hell he was able to that it was, but that's an entirely different story. Daniel Bryan going a little Tanya Harding on the Big Red Monster, knocked him out unconscious. But in order to win this particular match, you got to go for the submission or the pinfall in the middle of the ring. So what is a Daniel Bryan to do? Well, there was a forklift, and conveniently there was a pallet that. So what is a WWE World Heavyweight Champion to do with a Big Red Monster that's unconscious? Well, you guessed it. Put that son of a bitch on that pallet and roll that SOB forklift to the ring, where Daniel Bryan did a hell of a job raising that pallet up, and Kane just really doing a good job of selling, rolling and onto the canvas as Daniel Bryan tried to go for a flying headbutt while standing on top of that wooden platform, but he missed. After that, I think we had saw Kane do a choke slam, try to go in for the pin there. Was looking as though maybe we were about to see Kane finally become WWE champion once again. First time in, 14 years or whatever. Daniel Bryan managed to kick out. And we saw the go outside the ring briefly for a little bit as Daniel Bryan one more time, he got back on the off. As he was being assaulted, and the action goes back to the ring, Daniel Bryan connects with a flying knee butt to the head of Kane. And that was pretty much how Daniel Bryan was able to retain. It was some really great spots that was going on in that match. And to the people that were chanting, Kane, you suck and all that, honestly, I think Kane did a freaking superb job tonight with regards to putting over Daniel Bryan, because give Kane a lot of credit. What was it, like last year's Extreme Rules pay-per-view? We saw Kane take on John Cena ambulance match. Kane was freaking on point in that match. I don't know, man. I think Kane might have this new rep when it comes to Extreme Rules. I don't know what it is, but Kane's on the roll. The past two Extreme Rules matches, even though he's lost, he's put on one hell of a freaking performance. Not to mention, there was also a spot, I can't believe I almost forgot about it, probably because it was so brief, but we actually saw Kane go through a wooden table that was set on fire. Didn't really like the fact that we didn't see Kane be set on fire for such a longer period of time, or that the table didn't remain on fire for such a longer period of time, as we saw fire extinguishers just come very quickly to blow it all out and everything. But there were some really great spots in that main event match. But Daniel Bryan has retained the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. I liked how, as Daniel Bryan was getting ready to make his exit, though, we saw Kane get up, and sure enough, contrary to what I had said Friday night, this appears to only be the beginning between Daniel Bryan and Kane. I have a strong feeling that we have yet to see the last of these two guys locking it up. But overall tonight, I would definitely have to say Extreme Rules, definitely a pass. And I can't stress this enough for the folks in the New Jersey, Pittsburgh area. You know, there was supposed to be some action going on with the Extreme Rising promotion and all of that, but as some of you all may probably know by now, that promotion is no more, and good riddance because of its owner and the shady handlings that he did and everything. I think that this was really a great pay-per-view. I mean, it really wasn't that heavy on the whole Extreme things as far as like every single match being all extreme, but you know what, when it counted the most, especially with that Extreme Rules match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, you know, just overall, man, you really walked away from this pay-per-view saying, you know what, this was pretty damn good. Now I know somebody TNA wise is going to ask me if this pay-per-view was better than the last pay-per-view that TNA Wrestling had did, and if I'm not mistaken, I think their pay-per-view was Sacrifice. Yeah, I got to give the edge to WWE as far as which one of those guys had the better pay-per-view. I think WWE, they did a better job. But hey, I think TNA is going to be doing it again later this month with another pay-per-view. So we'll see how they do. But let's see what some of you guys got to say with regards to the pay-per-view for tonight. Remember, you can interact by posting your comments down below. Find us on Twitter at the RCWR Show and Facebook at Infinity One Productions. I am fighting a bad chest cold over here. I am running on a little bit of a high fever here, so forgive me if I might take a little bit of a sip of water from time to time here. Let's see what some of you guys are saying here. We'll load your comments up, and we'll take it from the bottom, work our way to the top. And while your comments are loading up, I want to give you guys a heads up. Quick programming notes. This Tuesday night, we have the 350th episode of the RCWR show. You'll be able to catch that at Blog Talk Radio. We're going to be joined by a special guest. You guys know of the black guy with the white shirt, glasses, that had the shocked look on his face when the Undertaker's streak had came to an end? Well, yeah, that guy, turns out he's right here in the Washington, D.C. area, and we're actually going to be chatting it up with him on Tuesday. So make sure you join us for that. Monday, we're still going to be doing a show for you guys. We'll be coming on as soon as WWE Raw goes off the air, but Tuesday night is where you really want to be because we'll be doing that 350th episode, and that's actually going to be our last show for that respected week. I am being forced, if you will, to go on vacation, and honestly, I need some rest. So join us Monday, Tuesday. That'll be it for the whole week. See what you guys are saying right. Aaron, WWE is going to be awesome again. Let's see. Inside, has the WWE forgotten about the U.S. title? No, they did not forget about the U.S. title because if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was on last week's SmackDown or the week before, Dean Ambrose was in a handicap match defending his United States Championship, and I'm actually a little bit surprised that the commentators didn't mention that during that match with Evolution. And Gen Next 7, you followed up exactly what I had said there. I didn't even have to read that, as Gen Next 7 said, defended on SmackDown Friday. But Star-Lord feels that he hasn't had a legit threat yet. He hasn't had one title defense where people actually thought he had a chance to lose. Jamie, while this pay-per-view was on fire, it's a Revolution match. Talk about a war. Talk about amazing ending to the John Cena and Bray Wyatt match. I thought the children's choir was creepy. That deep voice was way more creepy. And finally, what an amazing WWE World Heavyweight Championship. I would give this pay-per-view an 8 out of 10. See what else we got here. And Ricky, it's you. As far as the screen goes, check your screen. And let's see what else we got right here. Trying to get to you guys' comments here. Bear with me here. And Jimmy, you got a new subscriber, Lee. Great reviews. Thank you. Glad you enjoy it. Lee, you are one of my fave people ever. But if you ever mention The Cure and Goth in the same sentence, you and I will be the next pay-per-view pre-show. Well, it's true. When you think about The Cure and Goth, they go hand in hand. For Christ's sake, man, look at the lead singer of The Cure. He's dressed like a goth, isn't he? I mean, I don't know how it is in your neck of the woods, but when I was growing up out here in D.C., when it came to The Cure and all that, there was a lot of gothic-looking people running around. Marcus, great pay-per-view. My only beef is the Cena-Wyatt match. Cena is in need of a major reinvention. Joker, wow, man, that was extreme. Philip, Daniel Bryan sent the devil back home. Not really. Let's see what we got here. Mr. Mike, sorry, mate, got to disagree with you. Daniel Bryan Kane, old stale, same old stuff. Daniel Bryan deserves better. Devon, RCWR show, why you dogging Big E? What about the U.S. belt? I'm not dogging Big E Langston. Let me make sure I set this perfectly clear now. Big fan of Big E Langston. I expect nothing but good things to happen for him. I do expect him at some point to be a WWE World Heavyweight Champion, but he needs a little bit more character development. And quite honestly, with regards to the United States Championship belt, WWE, they flirted it in the past. Maybe they're putting it on the back burner until the timing is right. But there was a very interesting article on WWE's website where they were talking about fusing the United States Championship and the Intercontinental Championship. And at the time, I remember they were talking to Dean Ambrose, and I can't remember who the IC champion was. I want to say it was Big E Langston. They were getting both of their thoughts on that, and then they were asking Pat Patterson and a couple of other people about should those two belts go on ahead and be fused. Now, I do agree that with regards to Dean Ambrose, yes, he needs to defend the United States Championship more. If not that, then they need to go on ahead and just fuse it with the IC and just make it one. And if anything, maybe bring back the Hardcore Championship, bring back that 24/7 rule or whatever. But don't get it twisted. Huge, huge Big E Langston fan. And I try to look out for fellow brothers when it comes to wrestlers. And it's more so not because, oh, well, they're black, but it's, okay, so not only are you a brother, but you can wrestle pretty damn good. And for Big E Langston, he can wrestle pretty damn good. I will give him that respected nod. However, let's be honest, his personality, and see, this is where it's a little conflicting. You got to be honest with yourself. If you know anything about Big E Langston, aside from what you see on TV, as far as social media goes, you know that he's a pretty funny, very charismatic guy, and for some weird reason, WWE isn't allowing him to bring some of that to WWE programming. They've kind of flirted around with it the past couple of weeks, kind of give you an indication that maybe they're going to start trying to let him have a little bit more personality, but until he's able to really have that personality just go full throttle, you know what I'm saying? He's always going to be in that, well, maybe it's better if he just chases after this person. You know what I'm saying? It's unfortunate, but hopefully it'll definitely switch up in due time, my friend. Let's see. What else we got right here? Devon, I'm not trying to be mean, but the RCWR show, you the only one did not see that coming. I don't know what the hell that means, Devon. I really don't, man. But if you're new to our channel, man, we do this every single week. We interact with you all, get you all's input on what you had thought about each respective show, pay-per-view, etc. So, see what else we got here. Chris, did you hear about the NXT releases? Yes, I did. What is it so far? Like 2 releases, Mason Ryan and some other guy that wrestled on NXT for a little bit. I can't think of his name right now. Yeah, I heard about them. I'm not going to be talking about it tonight, though. 619, The Shield versus Evolution. The torch passed. Wow, what a match. All right, and that seems to be all the comments from now. If I haven't gotten to your respected comment, I got you guys when I get ready to shut this bad boy down. But other than that, let me just refresh one more time. Make sure I got everybody in here. Let's see here. Yeah, we got everybody. That's it for now. That's good. I like that. All right, so one more time, we got our 350th episode of the RCWR show coming up. You'll be able to catch that on Tuesday. But first, we got to get through Monday, man. I mean, it's a lot going on Monday. I'm not really going to be interacting with you on social media this Monday because we got the Wizards. They're going to be playing. We got the return of 24. So I'm going to be MIA for just a little bit. But we will be doing a show for you guys Monday night as soon as Raw goes off the air. But then Tuesday night, make sure you join us on Blog Talk Radio, our 350th episode. Like I said, we're going to be chatting it up with the shocking face guy himself. I'm looking forward to that. Ellis is his name. We're going to be chatting it up with him, get his WrestleMania 30 experience. You know, he actually had the opportunity to go meet with Triple H and see some other WWE superstars. That's just how popular this guy had became. So definitely join us for that. We're going to be chatting it up with him. And we got some more great surprises that's going to be coming about for that 350th episode. I am hard at work remixing right now. I did a really great interview with adult film actress Nina Hartley and Breaking Kayfabe / You Shoot host, owner of Kayfabe Commentaries, Sean Oliver. Go show that some love. Check it out. We got links available on Twitter and Facebook. And once again, if it's your first time checking us out, I'd love to have you subscribe to us so you never miss out on all the great content we do for you guys here on a weekly and monthly basis. If you enjoyed this recap and review, give it a thumbs up. If you are disliking it, maybe you can go that extra mile and maybe give me a comment and let me know what it is that you didn't like so that we can try to make sure that we work on improvements, because we only know what we need to work on by having great feedback from great folks such as yourself here in the internet wrestling community. So definitely go out of your way and share that feedback. And yeah, that's going to do it. Make sure you Google Plus this, Facebook it, retweet it. One of the many ways you can spread a good word about us. And that's going to do it. I wish all you all to be safe and be kind to one another. Good night, good morning. Take care.